Malika, sources tell me that the Lakers have failed Mark Williams on his physical exam. I'm told they found multiple issues in that exam.
Failed physical means Mark Williams will not be coming to the Los Angeles Lakers. Dalton Connect is now coming back. Where do the Lakers go from here?
This isn't an over-exaggeration at all whatsoever when I say the Los Angeles Lakers' absolute worst nightmare has officially come true, because one of their major trades from this past week has been voided, and as a result, their opportunities to contend for a championship for at least this season seem to be in jeopardy. We're gonna break it all down for you guys. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications. This is our second upload of the day, and we have plenty more coming for you guys. It's been an absolute crazy week in the NBA this week, and I'm gonna make sure you guys are covered. And now that we get all that out of the way, do the intro. Today's video is sponsored by Prize Picks. They're running a Super Bowl free square for Patrick Mahomes. Lately, I've been doing really well with my picks. I've been averaging at minimum a pick a day, and I've been making my followers a lot of money. I pretty much discovered that if you run 4-man power plays and you hit at least 1 out of every 10 4-man power plays, you 10x your money. So you break even if you hit 1 out of every 10 of your power plays, meaning you only need to hit 2 out of every 10 of your power plays to make money. So far, I've been averaging about 4 out of every 10 of my power plays hitting, and my results speak for itself. People have been hitting me up in my DMs thanking me as well. If you want to give it a shot, I give away my picks on Instagram at TheFlightMike, and if you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, make sure you use my promo code microphone to get a free $50 when you make a play of $5 or more. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Last week around this time, while we were all minding our business, Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison revealed that they were having frequent meetings with one another. As a matter of fact, a viral picture of these two meeting at a coffee shop leaked onto the internet. And you just see the surprise in Rob Pelinka's eyes, because Nico wants to trade one of the best assets in the entire NBA. The result was the Los Angeles Lakers trading Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick to the Dallas Mavericks for Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. The fallout is still continuing to this day, guys. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the press conference of Jason Kidd looking depressed as Nico Harrison's providing his rationale.
J. Kidd didn't know about it, but J. Kidd and I are aligned, and we talk about archetypes, and we talk about...
I'm sure you can see the angry Dallas Maverick fans complaining about how terrible of a trade this was, and it's gotten to a point where Nico Harrison had to step up his security because people are making threats on his life.
Nico Harrison has been subjected to death threats. There have been racial epithets included in some of those. Certainly security is going to be beefed up. There will be protests outside the arena, or at least those are planned. Security will absolutely be beefed up. Nico Harrison is not going to be in his normal seat in the stands. They just don't, there's no reason to subject him to that kind of a security risk.
Interestingly enough, a community note added that police have said that they're not aware of any death threats against him. Prior to Anthony Davis's debut, there were "Fire Nico" chants outside of American Airlines Arena.
Fire Nico! Fire Nico!
And I really want to break down Anthony Davis's debut, but we're going to do that in a completely separate video. And originally, that was our plan for you guys tonight. We wanted to bring you guys a follow-up and dissect Anthony Davis's debut with the Dallas Mavericks. But what just happened to the Los Angeles Lakers completely blindsided us, and it could screw them for the foreseeable future. You see, upon trading for Luka Doncic, the Lakers now needed to build the right team around Luka and LeBron. You see, in our last video, we talked about how Luka Doncic and LeBron James pretty much have a similar skill set to each other, where they run the spread pick and roll really well. Luka Doncic runs it at a different level from LeBron James. But in order for this to work, there's multiple elements that needed to be added to the mix. There needs to be multiple three-point shooters that are spread out around the perimeter, will be left open by the threat of Luka Doncic driving it inside, and there needs to be an athletic center with a pretty sizable standing reach that could be a lob threat for Luka Doncic. Luka could then penetrate inside depending on the coverage he sees. If he sees drop coverage or 2-on-1, then he could hit him with the step back jumper. He could find his athletic center for an alley-oop. He can masterfully kick it out to the perimeter for a three-pointer. And LeBron James is incredible at catch and shoot threes, nailing 41% of them so far this year. So immediately after the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic, Doncic pretty much told Rob Pelinka that if you want to craft the best offense around me possible, you need to go out and trade for an athletic center because the Los Angeles Lakers are very thin in their front court. And Dave McMenamin even reported this, saying that after huddling with Luka Doncic after the trade, he impressed upon Lakers brass his desire to play with a lob threat, a mobile big whose vertical spacing gives Doncic another option when making his reads, sources tell ESPN. So following this, the Lakers decided to make their second big trade of this past week. It was a pretty controversial one. The Los Angeles Lakers would trade Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, a 2031 unprotected first-round pick, and a 2030 pick swap to the Charlotte Hornets for center Mark Williams. Now, the reaction to this was very mixed because on one hand, statistically speaking, Mark Williams was top 5 in player efficiency rating with a staggering 26.5. He averaged 16 points and 10 rebounds this past year, at an offensive box plus minus of a 4 and a defensive box plus minus of a 1. Now, his interior defense is a little suspect, I will admit, but he's always at a positive value over replacement player. I mean, the man has a standing reach of a 9'9", and he's only 23 years old. Clearly, he is the ideal pick and roll partner for Luka Doncic and could be a front court staple for the Los Angeles Lakers for years to come. This is the guy. He is perfect for the new look Los Angeles Lakers. It's like peanut butter and jelly at this point. He'd easily be the best lob threat that Luka Doncic has ever had throughout his entire career. But there's just one problem. Mark Williams has a pretty sketchy injury history. I mean, during his rookie year, he missed 13 games with a left ankle sprain sporadically throughout the season in totality. Then he had a right thumb injury where he missed 6 games. He underwent thumb surgery in the offseason, but the very next year is when the back issues would start. He had a lower back contusion where he missed 1 game, and then he had a back injury where he was ruled out for the season. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, when you're a 7-foot athletic big man, lower back injuries could destroy your career. I mean, I'm sure some Laker fans have some trauma from what happened to Dwight Howard during his first stint with the Los Angeles Lakers. But this past year, Mark Williams would deal with injury issues. He would have a left foot injury where he missed 20 games, but when he was on the court, he was absolutely magnificent. But the thing is, for the Los Angeles Lakers, the juice was worth the squeeze. If they get Mark Williams, this is an individual that could put them in contention for a championship. So they went all in. They traded their best assets for him, trading Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, a 2031 unprotected first-round pick, a 2030 pick swap for Mark Williams. Everyone was looking at Nico Harrison saying, oh my god, this is what you should have gotten for Luka Doncic as well. The Lakers pretty much got Mark Williams for free if you're using that line of thinking. Some Laker fans were deeply concerned. I mean, these are our last remaining assets to build around Luka. Dalton Knecht has been a stud for us this year. Mark Williams is a huge injury risk, so we didn't know how we felt about this because if it does work, if Mark Williams is fully healthy, then this team could potentially make a run to the NBA Finals. But if Mark Williams isn't healthy, then we're screwed and we have no assets for the foreseeable future. Ramona Shelburne also told us at the time that the Lakers had been looking for a big, but once they got Luka this week, they knew exactly what kind of big they wanted. From what I've heard, in Luka's initial basketball conversations, he told Rob Pelinka he played best when there was a vertical lob threat. When Charlotte called saying that they liked Dalton Knecht and they were willing to discuss Mark Williams, the deal came into place. The Lakers had previously looked at more veteran, slower / older bigs, but when Luka explained how much playing with Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford opened things up for him in Dallas, LA felt like this was the move that would give them a shot beyond this year and on. JJ Redick even mentored Mark Williams. I mean, this was meant to be. They claimed that they looked into Mark Williams' injury history and everything was going to be okay. And this is a lot to give up. I mean, these assets are the last of the Los Angeles Lakers' best assets to give up for their front court. And it made a lot of sense. They had way too many guards. They had to part with them. But the Los Angeles Lakers' worst nightmare just happened. According to Shams Charania, the Los Angeles Lakers say that the Mark Williams Dalton Knecht trade has been rescinded, which means that this trade is no longer going through, which, yes, I know what you might be thinking. This is really awkward for Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish. Mark Stein would tweet out that the Lakers just announced that their trade with Charlotte to acquire Mark Williams has been rescinded due to failure to satisfy a condition of the trade. Now, for those of you guys wondering what the condition of the trade was, Shams would provide some clarification, saying Mark Williams' physical with the Lakers showed multiple issues and the team failed him on the exam. The physical was not failed due to his back, however.
Malika, sources tell me that the Lakers have failed Mark Williams on his physical exam. I'm told they found multiple issues in that exam. It's about the extent of the injury of what they got and what they found. And people have talked about his back being an issue. I'm told that that was not the reason of the failed physical. So they found a couple of other issues.
So the Los Angeles Lakers were placed in a very difficult situation because if a player fails a physical before the trade deadline, then the two teams can amend the trade and make it go through to make it work. But this is way after the trade deadline. So either both teams need to let the trade go through or they have to rescind it. You can't change up the details of the trade. So as a result, the Lakers get their picks back and they get Dalton Connect back, and the Hornets get Mark Williams back, which is fine, but now the Los Angeles Lakers can't trade for any other center. You had Nick Claxton that was a possibility. You had Walker Kessler that you could have made a trade for. All of those possibilities are officially shut down. At the time that we're recording this video, your best opportunity is Dwight Howard, but no, Dwight Howard's a podcaster now. You can't even go after Dwight Howard. The Lakers are in a very tough spot at the center position, and what they have to hope for is underutilized big men going up to their teams and saying, hey, can you please release me so I can catch alley-oops from LeBron James and Luka Doncic in Los Angeles? That's their only hope. They went from the player that has the tallest standing reach in the NBA to Christian Koloko at the center position. I don't think you understand how bad it is right now. I mean, Polymarket dropped the Los Angeles Lakers championship odds significantly as a result of this. Okay, maybe I'm being melodramatic. That's like a 1% dip. Look, at the end of the day, I believe that everything happens for a reason, right? I mean, if Dennis Schroeder turning down his 4-year, $84 million contract extension resulted in us getting Luka Doncic, I'm sure this will pan out for the Lakers in the future. But I have to admit, it is not looking good for the Los Angeles Lakers, at least for the rest of the season. People are memeing this, saying this was Mark Williams' career as a Los Angeles Laker. And I honestly feel so bad for the guy because if he was able to pass his physical, he would be living in Los Angeles, catching lobs from Luka Doncic and LeBron James for the rest of his career. He'd be way more famous. He'd be competing for championships. He'd be Luka Doncic's lob threat for the next couple of years as well. So I really have a lot of empathy for Mark Williams because it must suck to be him right now. And it's not looking good for the Los Angeles Lakers for the rest of the season. Now, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. If you guys missed our first upload of the day, Kevin Durant has officially sabotaged his career. We have a whole video explaining how. I'll leave it in the end screen and I'll meet you guys there. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.